vamos fechar aqui hoje, hein? Humorista Bassem Youssef expõe lado brutal de Gaza. Jornalistas levam uma surra na entrevista. Isso aqui é uma entrevista para algum programa que eu não sei o nome, tá? Isso aqui foi postado no canal da Mídia Ninja, tá bom? Esse programa aqui em questão que está na tela, esse jornalista eu não conheço, esse humorista eu já conheço ele, já vi alguns conteúdos dele, justamente falando sobre a questão da guerra, né? E como é a pauta, eu acho que está dominando o cenário hoje, a gente vai falar um pouco ainda sobre isso, né? Vamos lá então.
To what First of all, what is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Gente, e é um vídeo que tá imperialista, tá? Tem as legendinhas ali, tá? Desculpem aí, só tem esse vídeo em imperialista. Eu vou até mudar minha câmera aqui para vocês poderem ver a reação do cara aqui. Vamos lá.
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also secondhand because, you know, my wife's family, they live in Gaza. They have cousins and uncles there, and their house also was bombed. We haven't been able to communicate with them for the past 3 days. Communication are lost. So we don't know actually what is the, how are they doing, but, you know, we're used to that. I mean, it's just like,
Okay.
how are they doing, but you know,
Estamos acostumados
we're
com
used to
isso.
that. I mean, it's just like it's very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. You know, it's just like those Palestinians. They're very dramatic. Israel killing us, but they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill. Very difficult people to kill. I know because I'm married to one. I tried many times, couldn't kill her.
I mean,
Nossa, o nível de acidez que ele veio, cara, o nível de acidez. Nossa senhora, velho. Esse cara cuspiu veneno na cara desse jornalista, agora ele não percebeu, velho. Sem sacanagem mesmo.
there's a dark humor there, and I understand why. Because
Oh, it's not dark humor.
I mean, there's a dark humor there, and I understand why. Because
Oh, it's not dark humor. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her out. I will be serious. I was watching your interview with Ben Shapiro, and I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I think that Ben Shapiro is one of the smartest people who ever walked this earth. He's very, very smart. I follow him, and I believe everything he said. And when he came on your show, his solution was, and I quote, his solution was that the solution for this is for Israel to annex Gaza and to kill as many son of bitches as possible to make sure that this will never happen again. And anyone who called for a ceasefire will be a terrorist sympathizer. So God forbid, I don't want to be labeled as a terrorist sympathizer. So I agree with Ben Shapiro. I think we should kill as many son of bitches as possible.
Well, let me.
So
Okay,
far,
but Bassem,
Cara, esse cara foi. Esse maluco não é qualquer um, não, velho. Esse maluco aqui não é qualquer um, não. Porque é aquela questão que ele pega a loja, ele pega a realidade e extrapola. Gente, teve sionista falando isso. Isso foi discurso feito por sionistas. Teve aquela mulher da Globo. Do Globo não, minto. Eu não lembro qual emissora que ela era. Que ela falou: sou sionista com orgulho, os palestinos têm que ser eliminados. Tá vendo que quando isso é dito pra valer, um cara desse diz isso pra valer, olhando assim, não parece absurdo? É isso que está acontecendo. Tá ligado? O bom é que ele demonstra a lógica sionista usando a lógica sionista. Exatamente. Ele pega e desenha ela assim, gente, o sionismo é isso aqui, ó. Tá ligado? É o que eu falei no outro vídeo mais cedo, gente. Temos que proteger a comunidade judia acima de qualquer coisa. Temos que proteger. É um compromisso de qualquer comunista proteger a comunidade judia. Proteger a comunidade judia. Não sionista. Tá? Deixando claro isso.
So far, 3,500 people were killed, including 5,000 son of bitches in the bombing of the Baptist hospital as we speak right now. 1/3 of those 3,500 were children. So my question to Ben Shapiro is, how many more son of bitches do we need to kill so Ben Shapiro is happy? I agree.
Caralho. o que você vê na cara desse maluco que ele tá claramente desconfortável.
Agree with him. The thing is, the question is, what is a proportionate response? Because
Yes.
it has been different from one tier to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from one year to year. It's like
Esse gráfico, eu tenho ele aqui. Deixa eu pegar aqui pra vocês. Eu acho que ele tá aqui. Aqui. Esse gráfico aqui que ele tá mostrando, tá, gente? Vamos ilustrar o que eu acho, tipo assim. Já que a gente pega pra fazer um conteúdo, a gente tem que fazer sério. Tá carregando aqui? Enquanto carrega.
fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today, what is the going rate today for human lives? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88
Pera aí.
Israelis were died. For example,
O gráfico que ele usa é esse aqui, gente. Custo humano do conflito Israel-Palestino. A fonte dele, gente, está aqui embaixo. É as Nações Unidas. Ele foi publicado por esse site aqui, geopol.pt. Né? Total de mortes de 2008 a 2020 é de 5.590 palestinos, 251 israelenses. 2020, tá? Isso aqui fala sobre 2020. Em 2018, 31.558 pessoas ou morreram ou se feriram. A esmagadora maioria se feriram nessa guerra, contra 130 palestinos. Em 2014, 19.860 pessoas ou morreram ou foram feridas no conflito, 2.796 palestinos, israelenses. 7.460 palestinos feridos ou mortos em conflito, 123 israelenses. O nome disso é o quê? É guerra? Contra o terrorismo? Ok.
this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from one year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my
Você tá ficando igual o cripto. Nossa senhora.
question is today, what is the going rate today for human lives? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. That is one Israeli for
Para cada
27
israelense para cada um israelense foram 27 mortes palestinas.
That is a very good exchange rate.
Essa
What
tá
I'm
ficando
saying
muito
is,
boa.
what is the exchange rate
Well,
for today?
I-
You guys will be happy. That's my question.
Well, it's not me.
I
It's
want
not
to
me,
know.
guys. I'm not on either side.
No,
here.
not you. Like when I say you guys, I say like the people on the other side of that. I know that you don't think like that, Piers. You're one of the good guys. Hamas has absolutely no control in the West Bank, and since the beginning of this year, only through the good guys. Hamas has
O
absolutely
Hamas
no
não
control
tem absolutamente nenhum controle sobre
in the West
Cisjordânia.
Bank, and since the beginning of this year, only through August, 37 Palestinian kids were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. Since the occupation of the West Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas.
Ele está... Cara, o jornalista não tem resposta, velho. Isso aqui não é uma entrevista, isso aqui é uma surra. Isso aqui é uma surra.
I can go on and on.
E isso é só um corte, camarada. Se você quiser ver a completa em off depois, porque é enorme, é só jogar o nome dele e Israel que tem no YouTube. Muito obrigado pela dica, cara.
And on and on.
No.
Amazing. So let's. I would say I really applaud Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. Because with this logic, if Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses, we're cool with Putin, right?
Essa daí pegou de trivela, hein? Essa daí pegou de trivela, pegou legal.
I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them, go invade. It's fine. You have done your job.
No one wants a proportionate response. No moral person could possibly call for a proportionate response. The purpose of war is to defeat your enemy. The West has, in my lifetime, forgotten the purpose of war because the true cost of war is so terrible. The last time the West engaged in war and won it was World War II, and they did it.
Vou só fazer uma correção na fala desse sujeito aqui.
Terrible. The last time.
A última vez que o Ocidente se envolveu em uma
time the
guerra
West engaged in war and won it
e venceu foi a Segunda Guerra Mundial. Quem venceu a Segunda Guerra Mundial chama-se União das Repúblicas Socialistas Soviéticas. Muito obrigado.
was World War
Você tá livre para falar essa merda que você tá falando hoje, não é em alemão? Você deve ao Exército Vermelho, ao povo soviético, ao camarada Stalin. Muito obrigado.
II. And they did it through incredible brutality. They did it by bringing their enemies to heel. That's not a thing to rah-rah about. That's not a thing to look forward to. As I said, all decent people should avoid war. But I think the sort of lie of the post-World War II, the post-war consensus lie, is that somehow war in which you kill a bunch of people and don't secure victory is morally superior to war where you do secure victory. I would say that the only way to morally justify a war is to win it. Otherwise, the very argument that brought you into the war, this enemy must be defeated, ends up being proven a lie. I mean, Afghanistan, I think America had every right.
Tipo os Estados Unidos no Afeganistão. 10 anos, vários bombardeios, $1 trilhão gasto para substituir os extremistas pelos extremistas. Como é que é o nome do grupo mesmo? Esqueci o nome do grupo que tá lá, que comanda o Afeganistão hoje.
Right, to go into Afghanistan. The Taliban was harboring Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda flew planes into buildings in the United States, killed thousands of our citizens, brought the nation into untold agony, pain, and horror. America had every right morally to go in and destroy the Taliban and destroy Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, but I would argue,
But the Taliban now rules in Afghanistan.
Talibã, muito obrigado, Talibã. Os Estados Unidos precisou de 3 presidentes, $1 trilhão e 10 anos bombardeando o Afeganistão, devolvendo o Afeganistão para a idade do bronze, para substituir o Talibã pelo Talibã.
War was not won.
But that's my point, actually. I've done a column about this tonight for The Sun here in the UK, which is I was editor of a newspaper when the Iraq War happened. I opposed it very aggressively as the editor of the paper. And sadly, we were borne out by events. It was a complete disaster, the Iraq War, in my view. It was illegally contested, I think. And the consequences were appalling in terms of loss of life, 1 million people, in terms of ISIS being allowed to breed and create their merry hell around.
ISIS treinados, armados e financiados pela CIA, tá? Assim como o Estado, o Partido Sionista e o Estado de Israel facilita a vida do Hamas. Já tem prova, gente. Não precisa falar disso. Tem prova, tá? Tem prova. Tanto é que o surgimento do Hamas, o partido, o Likud, é um dos que financia o surgimento do Hamas, tá? Só para lembrar os senhores.
Around the world in terms of complete dismantlement of Iraq itself as a functioning country.
Deixa eu ver se o outro sujeito volta para falar. Gente, eu vou adiantar que eu não tô afim de ver esse maluco falando besteira, não.
I think is a sign of decency to engage in a conversation about moral equivalency.
Let me bring Bassem back in. You've been listening to this, Bassem. What's your response to what Jeremy's been saying?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the gentleman's name.
It's Jeremy Boring. He's the chief executive of the Daily Wire and co-founder with Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire.
Hi, Jeremy. Please say hello to Ben Shapiro and please tell him that I do think he is the smartest person to ever walk the earth. Thank you so much. So, as a response to Jeremy, I agree with everything you said. I mean, what is disproportionate? I mean, he just used the examples from Second World War and America, showing that civilian casualty is, I heard his voice. He was very sad, and as he was telling us, it is so inevitable to kill so many civilians because it's something that we cannot avoid. I hear the sadness in his voice, and I know that it's a very difficult decision to kill all of these civilians because that's for a higher cause, and I understand. But my question, I have two questions. The question is, how can you justify the killing in the West Bank where Hamas does not exist? And if the disproportionate response during over all of these years have actually worked, what will be new this time that did not happen before? I just want to. That was my question.
Okay,
that
Bassem,
was my question.
I'm gonna.
Okay. So now, if I ask the question, can I say something on my side?
Well,
a little bit personal?
Bassem, with respect,
a little bit personal.
Bassem, with respect, I gave you half the show to have your side. Jeremy's had a lot less time. I'm going to have to
You
move
want me
on.
to leave?
Bassem,
or do you want me to stay?
I'm going to have to let you go because we've been on there with you for 40 minutes.
Okay.
Now.
Bye bye.
Right? But listen,
bye bye.
I would like to talk to you again, and thank you for joining the program. I appreciate it.
Oh, bye.
É isso, eu acho que aqui acabou já. Eu acho que o que eu tinha para trazer no corte era isso. né, 14 minutos aí. Para você que assistiu aqui, muito obrigado, tá bom? Vou ficando por aqui. Um beijo enorme no seu coração. Até a próxima. Falou!